don't think we should, Trudy. I thanked them and left. I told them we would be back later for our things. Then there was a sharp rap on the door and a sharper voice. Polizzi, open up! We froze. Coming, Pappi said, his eyes locked with Mooty's. Are there Jews here? The sharp voice demanded. Pause. Yes, we are all Jews, Pappi said. He opened the door and 3 Dutch police officers swept in. Even up close, the Dutch police looked the same as they had in the theater, with their blue pants and their blue jackets with golden buttons that ran down the front like a trail of geld. They just differed in height. The sharp-voiced leader said, You are to come with us. You have 10 minutes before we leave. I backed into my bedroom to get my bag, feeling dizzy and my breath small. Boots hit muffled carpet and snappy floorboards. A head and body in the doorway, the youngest policeman in his pointy cap looked at everything in the room except me. I could smell the leather of his high boots and tonic in his hair. There were stomping footsteps in other rooms. Drawers were being hastily opened. The sharp voice said, I suggest you don't take valuables. It was a command, not a suggestion. I realized I hadn't made my bed, so I grabbed the sheets and cover and pulled them up and over my pillow. Diagonal wrinkles spread over the blanket like waves. I joined Mooty in the living room. Sharp Voice tapped his watch hard enough it seemed to shatter the face. It was time to go. He directed Pappi to give him the apartment keys. Werner looked hot, bundled in too many clothes. We walked downstairs, one officer in front of us and one behind, and the last locking our apartment. The steps down the one flight squeaked under our weight. Outside we joined a few neighbors who were just as overdressed. They wore coats and hats and carried duffel bags, suitcases, and bundles fashioned from wool blankets. I overheard an officer refer to us as a lot, as if we were stuff to be sold. "What are we doing now?" I asked Mooty. She shushed me. "Rainey, no talking," Pappi said. We were lined up and paraded down the street, turning right on the much wider double boulevard at the end of the block. More people joined us like streams converging toward a river. We became a wide flow, keeping up as best we could with only Pappi marching straight, fast, and orderly, as if he were in a drill from the Great War. I tried to walk in step with him, which I found impossible. People kept shifting their loads hand to hand and arm to arm. Ropes, strings, and straps bowed shoulders and palms. There was a wooden cart and baby pram. Everybody unbuttoned jackets and shirt collars. Women clutched their purses. I tried to think of Rudy. As we entered a square, there were fewer Dutch police and more German guards. I realized I couldn't remember how we got here, the route we had walked. The streets, normally filled with people, were empty except for the swelling ranks of us Jews hemmed in by police and guards. A few faces peered from high, murky windows. A couple of men stood in a doorway talking. They didn't look our way, as if they didn't notice us, as if rounding up Jews in Amsterdam was normal. They stood safely on the shore as a river of people flooded by. Finally, we emptied out into a park and were directed to stop. People put their bundles in the grass and let the elderly have the few park benches. Everyone looked confused. Babies cried. In the distance, I heard guards yelling. I moved back a few steps until I bumped into Werner. "Hey, be careful," he said. He spit out something. He had been biting his nails. "Sorry," I whispered. A procession of gray trucks pulled alongside the curve of the park. The green canvas flaps were peeled back, and our family and others were ordered to climb up and sit on benches that lined either side. We were packed. I kept squeezing in more and more until I couldn't move. Belongings were piled in the middle. A few people fanned themselves with hats and folded magazines.